Hello friends, welcome to today's class. Today we are going to discuss on object repository. It is a method of recording or object repository meant object information. In case of object repository, object information is stored in a repository, and during execution we'll call the same name by which we have stored our properties, and QTP will find the properties description from object repository and it will identify the objects. Now, what is object repository? Object repository is the mind of QTP. It will capture the object information for identifying them in future. We can add, delete, modify, update after adding. We can add multiple objects at a time from the parent. We can rename object at any customized name. If you do so, it will affect the script as well. We can able to export repository and make object repository shared to use for other actions or test cases. We can able to add shared repository to local repository window to use object in a team. Local repository are specific to location. Shared objects can be created object repository manager or by exporting local objects. Shared ORs can be shared to multiple tests. .tsr is the extension for shared OR and .bdb is the for OR. Now, so we will first see one demo so that we get a clear idea what is how object repository works. And just a second, how object repository works. One second, give me just 1 second. Okay, now let's begin. First we will record and we'll see what is the difference between recording and using OR. So record test run in any open browser. This is record test run on any open Windows based application. We have to make sure this checkbox is checked. Okay, now we are going to record this. Okay, so this is what we recorded. Let us see whether it is working or not. So this line is not required. This line is also not required. These are useless lines, we have to remove it. So in this case what we are doing, we are activating our dialog box login. Then we are putting the agent name as Rajsen. Password, since it is password, so by default recording will take it set secure, which is encrypted password. Then click on login, click on OK button. Then flight reservation will be activated. We will give, since both things is not happening simultaneously, the moment we clicked, it will application will take some time. So for synchronization purpose, for making the application wait for some time, we will give some weight. So how much weight we are going to give? We are going to give, say for example 10 will be more, it will give it 5 seconds. Now for launching the application, see, we are not launching, we are just activating. How do we launch it? Standard way of launching is to find the application properties, find out the path, copy it, and now we have a command called system dot just a second. See, so command name is system util dot, after that it is automatically populating what are the functions present under this system util. So we are going for run because we want to run this program. What is the value that we want to run? This is the path that we wanted to run in the quoted line. Let's see. So we are going to launch this application and we are going to see. Now as you can see, the report directly generated, and it is saying this path, this is a report. After executing anything in testing environment, we should have some kind of report to validate that this was passed or this was fail. If fail, what was the issue? If passed, then what is the result? So agent name, it has set Raj Sen, password is set secure, it has clicked on button OK, and flight reservation activated. Okay, now we will make some changes. We'll see how it fails. Okay, let's see. It will wait for 20 seconds for the flight reservation to make it activated, because we know that in the settings section we have declared QTP will take 20 seconds to identify an object. After that only it will throw error, cannot identify object in the flight reservation, verify that object property matches an object currently displayed in the application. It is straightforward saying that there is no matching property available in the object. So but this is not the correct, for debugging point of view this is a good error, but this is not the correct information that it should display for login test case. Login was done, flight reservation window failed, so it should give a proper message that okay, that flight reservation execution failed. So here 3 points need to be understood. First is making the comments. In professional environment, it's very important to maintain a comment for what the code is being written. If some sort of function is being written, we should mention clearly why this function is being written. Second, your application should launch automatically, like this one. This is the line which is launching the application automatically, system-util.run. Again, your application should have a proper synchronization so that application is able to launch properly. Third, it should also close automatically so that you can run same, like suppose there is only one user as of now, but you want to log in for 2-3 users. Shall we try? Let's see. Sorry, it was small now. Now we'll make it. Okay, so we are going to launch for 4 different people. Now we have to make it parameterize. How to make it parameterize? The best way, in case of recording, the best way of parameterization is go to this place, agent name, make it parameter, data table parameter, and field name will be A. Okay, you can give any predefined name also. Suppose let me check it out. Okay, we will give it user, so you can give it as dt underscore user. Okay, now see, the data table is reflecting as meaningful name, dt underscore user. Who are the users? Here also you can mention the same name. It makes your program more readable. See, automatically it is coming. Okay, now anybody seeing this can understand this is a readable command, correct? Okay, let's begin. Where is that? 1 second. Okay, now we know that we have parameterized this part, and now data table name is dt underscore user. Let's see, it should ideally run 4 times. Okay, oh sorry, second time Ramesh, third time John, fourth time done. Now you will get the report. See, test case 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass, and 4 pass. Now everything is iteration 1, iteration 2, 3, 4. We'll check for iteration 2. Let's see. This, it was called successfully. Login, agent name Ramesh, password Mercury, and clicked on OK. Flight reservation activated, flight reservation closed. So if you don't launch automatically and if you don't close automatically, your program will not be able to follow up with iterations. It will not run multiple times. So far this is record and play. Okay, now we will move ahead for our OR based repository. So we'll comment this thing. This complete line can be commented using Control M. You don't need to do one by one. Okay, now so what we are going to do, we are going to maintain or okay, maintain or repository. We will be needing this system.launch because this is common for every launching program. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to add in the repository our launch and login and other functions. So let's see. Okay, launch it. Now we need to add the repository. One second, we need to go to resources, object repository. Okay, control R. Okay, so here we have repository, its agent name, we will highlight it, the highlighting, password, we will highlight it, highlighting, then OK button, will highlight, done. Then flight reservation, I believe it will come later. Okay, it is a later page. Okay, now this is the property of the object. So okay, it's as you can see, the button name is this, native classes button, and no other smart identification. This is how will be initial recording, that initial OR based. But what you can do is you have to rename the text boxes, because when we deal in the real life, we have hundreds of buttons and text boxes. Sometimes it runs in hundreds, sometimes it may be 50 or 60. So it is very important to understand exactly what you are dealing with. So best example is win edit. So we will write technical name also, starting with camel casing, win edit, agent name, no space. This is just a way of writing quality test cases or quality OR. Now we need agent only, we don't need native class edit. Remove this. Now let's identify. See, it's identifying. Attached text is agent, you don't need extra property. These small things will make your test case faster in real life scenario. Small win edit is the password, and then we don't need this property, we'll remove this. It's the password. Let's see, highlight, great. Button, since it is win button, so we'll write win btn, win button. Okay, and we don't need this native class, we will remove this. I believe we don't need this properties. This is enough, and this will be window flight, win flight reservation, no space. So what we are doing here, we are creating an object repository. See, object repository here. So we have created object repository for login function, and we are going to call this object property for our execution purpose. Since this is a very simple application as of now, so there won't be much difference between the recorded programming and this one. Let's see where is the differences lies. Now you have one more option here. One second. You can go to repository, object repository, and you can save it, file, export to local. Chalo, export to local objects. Where you want to keep, we'll keep it on the desktop. Okay, so we will go to desktop first. Desktop, will create object repository. File name, login function. Done. Now we'll close this. So what we did first we created OR. Now we are going to associate those OR with the object repository. Go to object repository manager, open this. See, by default it is coming to object repository. See, desktops and settings, desktop, and then object repository. This is your object.tsr format. Local object repository is in .tsr format, and shared repository is in .bpd format. Second. Okay, now what we are supposed to do, we wanted to write the code for this. So instead of me typing and taking so much time consumption, we will directly pull this. QTP will automatically generate the code. Dot set. Chalo, let's see. So it is saying first iteration is pass. It logged in. See, edit win edit agent name. So this means this is coming from our OR. It is identifying using OR. Win edit password. Win button OK. when flight reservation activated. Now only problem which I made is two things. I have not okay, here I have made two mistakes. One is this one, activate, and then I should write dot close. Second thing, don't know why this is coming from database. Done. Okay, so in this case there does not have much difference between OR based recording and recorded test case. But in many other cases, when you use the browser and other things, a lot of, first thing is, unwanted lines of codes will come, which I have already deleted in the first recorded cases. Second thing is, okay, comma data table dot, okay, second thing, what is that? Second thing is, program will become more readable. Suppose you have n number of text boxes which you want to customize and give different name, different sequences. Then in that case, sometimes the drop down will be identified as edit box. So QTP will say it's edit box, but whereas whenever you start writing, drop down will appear. I'm sure you should have experienced this kind of things earlier. When you something is, you clicked, a drop down list will open. Out of that list you have to select some value. So QTP generally initially identified that box as edit box. When you click on it, then the list will appear, and the list is identified as element. So this is our first OR based approach, where we have seen that this OR is kept in the repository, and from repository we are pulling this. One more thing is there, repository, you have to associate this repository sometimes, if because this is a local OR, so it is not happening. If it is a shared OR, then you have to add this repository, you have to associate your repository. In case of local OR, it will do automatically, but in case of shared repository, whenever it is in some shared location, you should do this. Sorry. Okay friends, so let's dealing with writing a function. We will write the same code of login using a function. Okay, so function I have just written. So we are going to see how this function works and what is the difference between writing a function and recording. So recording, we find out few extra lines of code will come, which is not necessary, and maybe it will not work perfectly all the time. For current time it is working. If little bit property changes, then it will not work at all. And in case of OR, we need only selective properties which is required for building that OR. So we have removed some properties from the OR. Now we wanted to see how to write a function. See, so many lines of codes are there, and here these are not recorded things. This is a function, set text function, set text edit, win edit is a function, then click on button is a function. Let's see how the function call happens, and we will discuss what is the advantages of this function call. Absolutely fine. Now we'll see the report. This is launching the application. See, winedit agent name dot exist. It is saying that this name exists. Then it set text. It has set the value. Now see the difference between the previous report and this report. Rajsen value should be entered in the text box. Rajsen value entered successfully in the text box. Now previously we were getting that the value is set and it's passed, but this kind of customized report we are not getting. winedit.exist, winedit.setText, and this is Mercury. Okay, Mercury value should be entered in the text box. Mercury value is entered successfully in the text box. Win button okay dot exist, win button dot click. Now win button okay button should be clicked. Okay button is clicked. So we are getting a clear picture here. How does this happens? Okay, let's see. Now these are the functions as we have discussed, sub procedure and functions in our automation VB scripting classes. So if you have forgot or you wanted to revisit, please go ahead with our specialized class for VB script. Now in brief I'll explain little bit. This is a sub and this is end sub. So this is sub is nothing but a function which will not return a value. Difference between sub and a function is sub procedure will not return a value, whereas function will return a value. So this is the sub procedure where set text win edit. So this is the name of the procedure and these are the parameters: dialog box, win edit and text. So there are three input parameters. What we are doing, we are saying set object child. So it will hold the a set of objects inside this object child. What is the object child? Dialog box and win edit. If this child dot exist, what exists? This dialog box and win edit. If this win edit exists, then object child dot highlight, waiting after 1 second, object child set text. Okay, so this text should be set. Now what is this text? This text is coming from this parameter. So you are passing the parameter Windows dialog, Windows edit box and Windows text. And if it does not happen, it should give proper report. This is a report event make pass. So this is the format of writing how I wanted to see my report. This text is the value of the parameter and value should be entered in text box. If it fails, it will say enter successfully in the text box. If it fails, then it will say proper message that text box is not found. For example, we will see once again. Similarly, click button, it will take only two parameters. One is dialog box, another is win button name. If these two exist, it will highlight and it will say okay, button should be clicked was the expectation and button is clicked is the actual result, expected result and actual result. And if it is not found, then it will say button is not found. Now we'll see one example where this will fail. We will not launch the application, we will simply execute this test case. Let's see. So this application itself is not there in the system. Ideally every step should fail. It will wait for each object 20 seconds and when it will not find, it will throw cannot identify. Okay, skip. It is done. Let's see the report. WinEdit agent dot exist. What is the expectation? Object does not exist. WinEdit agent name text box is not found. See, clear message. Object does not exist, is not found. OK button, object does not exist. Button OK is not found. So this one is QTP error, object does not exist. But which object does not exist? This Win object. It is also clear, but in runtime when you are dealing with multiple things, suddenly while running with QTP or QC ALM, something will fail and it will not give you proper result. So the status of the test case will be fail, and you don't know what is the exact reason for failure. So if you write this kind of functions for, that's what I was discussing in the previous class, if you write this kind of function, so this kind of function will help you to identify object properly, then wait for some time, highlight it, and then put the text box. Only 8 to 10 such functions are required, or maybe 20 such functions are required to deal with Windows kind of application. Now what we are going to do now is we will put this application or our function on a notepad. Okay, we will copy it, paste it, write desktop, what we did, we have saved our function in some different file, and now we will comment these lines. Okay, these lines are commented, and we will do this. So we'll actually, file association happens in two levels. One is you can go to settings, file, settings, and here is the resources, associate functional libraries. So you can associate functional libraries here also, but that will become constant. You can have it on the runtime. The execute file bracket, where we have stored our file. We'll check for the stored files. 1 second. It is in object repository and functional libraries. This is the path. So this is the path. Let's see. So let's see, we'll run it and we'll see whether this gets executed or not. Okay, some sort of problem is there. Let's see what is the problem. Now we can see that what we are doing first is we are launching the application. So this is the place where we are launching our flight reservation application. This is the line of code that is required execute file for associating the file at the runtime. In real life scenario, many places we will require to associate our functional libraries at runtime, associate our object repository also at runtime. What is the advantage with this? Advantage is while writing the code only will mention the functional functions. We'll call all functions in generally all together. Maybe some 100 or 200 functions are there based on the requirement. So those functions will be kept in a separate file, as you can see here, windows function.vbs. Okay, so in this format like this, you will have 100 or 200 functions based on the application. You can call that function runtime using execute file command. So you will give the mention the full path of the execute file command, and then these are the functions that is mentioned inside this file. So if this file is not loading, these functions will never work. Okay, and if this is happening, then it's look pretty good, right? System util.run, applications are getting launched, functions are getting associated at runtime. You are just calling the function and passing the parameters. So the benefit here itself, you can see with the same edit box, you are calling password and username and the password both. So this, when you write this kind of function, the reusability will be more, or we should write in such a generic way that almost 80 to 90% times we can reuse this code. So development will be really fast once your functions are ready, and you will really appreciate the quality of output it will give. If your functions are proper, chances of failure is very less as far as object identification and performing the action is concerned. Now where it can fail, when the object is changed, or some synchronization issue, or some unhandled pop-up came which need to be handled. So let's see how does our execution goes through. So now see, this is being launched, edit exist, edit set. So this is how you are getting full report. Rajchen value should be entered, Rajchen value entered successfully in the text box. Again here also Mercury value should be entered, Mercury is entered successfully. Click on win button. Now suppose this file is not present at this location, then let's see whether it will work or not. See, file not found. In this path file does not exist, so it will fail. Hence, so I believe by this time you people will have got a little idea how the projects used to work in real-time environment. In real-time environment, what basically people will follow is, one second, symbols. No, not this one. Sorry. So they will maintain their function functions at one location. This should be basically shared path. So maintain function at one location, data sheet, maintain data sheet or test data in Excel sheet. And third is mention function at one location, like we did our .vbs file, maintain Excel sheet for the test data part, and code or test case wise code in separate location. Why so segregation is required? So if our functions are kept in a separate place, everyone will simply call that function. Since these functions are well tested and it gives a nice report, so chances of failure is very less. Maintain the data in the Excel sheet because we don't want to modify our test cases. So it is always advisable to go for parameterized path. Go for parameterized path. Never give any hard-coded value in the test case. Otherwise, that particular value will keep on running every time, and you will not be able to modify that. And third is test case wise code in separate location. So generally test case wise location will be kept in your test management tool. For our case it can be HPALM or HPQC, but there are other tools also who supports this activity. So in today's class, what we have learned so far? We have learned how to use record and play. Sorry, this will be not over, this will be record and play. QC record and play. Okay, so this code was generated after recording the record and play method. Below one is the maintain OR and execute the function. So in this case we have maintained OR, so we have given customized name, win button, win edit password, win edit agent. Again using the same functionality we are writing using functions. So we have written our function in our function libraries, and then we are calling those functions from the QTP. For synchronization purpose we are giving time, and we are successfully able to launch it using any application. It can launch browser, it can launch any desktop application by using systemutil.run, and execute file is used for calling that .vvs function. So the function will be loaded in the application. As of now, this much for today's class. We'll see further more details of OR based examples in next coming classes. Thank you.